and you probably picture a world of bright colors, endless adventure, and unbreakable bonds of friendship. It's a franchise built on the idea of setting out into a vibrant, welcoming world alongside your best friends. But if you actually read the text inside the games themselves, the official Pokédex entries, that bright, welcoming world vanishes immediately. According to the authorized canon, you are capturing entities born from the spirits of dead children, hollow corpses puppeteered by parasitic infections, and beings trapped in permanent states of existential dread. Why would developers deliberately bury such macabre themes inside a global children's game? The answer lies in what these specific monsters actually represent, some of our deepest, most human fears. Take Mimikyu, for example. Beneath its sheet is a creature whose true appearance is apparently so horrifying that anyone who looks at it dies from sheer shock. To avoid permanent isolation, it came up with a heartbreaking solution. It spends its nights weeping in the dark, stitching together a crude Pikachu disguise, hoping that if it looks like the most beloved creature in the world, someone might finally want to be its friend. Isolation takes a much more aggressive form with Banette. It is a discarded stuffed doll brought to life entirely by the hateful energy of being thrown away, spending its existence wandering dark alleyways to hunt down the child who abandoned it. And then there's Absol, a creature with the ability to detect subtle environmental changes. It leaves its isolated mountain home specifically to warn human villages about impending natural disasters, like earthquakes and tsunamis. But because disaster always strikes right after it appears, humanity blames the messenger. Entire towns vilify Absol as an omen of death, echoing the real-world superstition where completely harmless black cats were historically persecuted as symbols of bad luck. This misunderstood nature traces back to Absol's likely real-world inspiration, the Baizé from ancient Chinese mythology. Legends describe the Baizé as a creature possessing supernatural intelligence and deep knowledge of spirits and disasters. Absol operates the exact same way. It is a living, breathing warning system attempting to save the very people who hate it. Mimikyu, Banette, and Absol show that the scariest things in this world are often the results of being isolated or rejected by society. The fear moves from emotional pain to severe biological horror when we look at Parasect. By the time this insect evolves, the original host is essentially dead. The massive mushroom growing on its back has completely consumed the bug's brain, draining its vitality to puppeteer the lifeless shell around as a walking infection. This specific nightmare is based directly on the real-world cordyceps, often called the zombie fungus. It hijacks the nervous system of real insects, forces them to climb high, and kills them to spread its own spores to new hosts. That total loss of autonomy applies to artificial creations as well. Mewtwo shifts the lore from biological parasitism to the cold sci-fi horror of genetic engineering. Created in a lab from stolen DNA, Mewtwo slowly gained self-awareness in a containment tank. When it began experiencing overwhelming grief after the other clones around it died, scientists simply erased its memories. It eventually woke up to the terrifying realization that it was manufactured solely to be a weapon. Whether it's a parasitic fungus hijacking a nervous system, or scientists engineering a mind for combat, both Parasect and Mewtwo force us to confront the terror of losing control over our own bodies and purpose. The darkest chapters of this lore deal with the permanence of death, beginning with Cubone's total inability to process the loss of a parent. Instead of moving on, Cubone constantly mourns its mother by wearing her literal skull as a permanent helmet, crying out into the night beneath the moon while clutching a bone she left behind. The canon extends far beyond those left behind to mourn. Phantom are created when the spirits of children become lost in the woods, die alone, and possess an abandoned tree stump. Because they are still essentially lonely kids, they mimic the voices of human children, wailing out into the forest out of a desperate need to find companions. Yamask takes this to the extreme. The games explicitly confirm that this Pokémon is an actual human soul that has been transformed after death. It carries a mask shaped exactly like the face it had when it was alive. Yamask retains all the memories of its human life, frequently staring at the mask and weeping as it searches ancient ruins for anyone who might still recognize it. These specific ghost stories capture the weight of grief, the finality of passing away, and the fear of having your identity erased. Beneath the surface-level mechanics of battling and collecting pets, the world of Pokémon is layered with stories of abandonment, parasitism, and loss. Projecting concepts like parasitic infection, grief, and death onto fantastical creatures serves a vital psychological purpose. This framing creates a controlled, safe environment. It allows young players to encounter and self-consciously process the darker realities of the world without being overwhelmed by them. Beneath the eerie designs and tragic backstories, the lore uses these monsters to build a sense of empathy for the traumatized